Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 12. Well, I wanted to go over UFC Long Island, which was on ABC. It was coming from the UBS arena, and it was an early start to the card. So, yeah, 12 fights. It was being headlined by Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez. Unfortunately, the main event had actually ended early, prematurely. Unfortunately, Brian Ortega at 4 minutes and 11 seconds into the first round, the fight had ended prematurely due to the fact that Brian Ortega had a freak accident and he popped out his right shoulder. So by TKO, Yair Rodriguez defeated Brian Ortega by TKO. I actually really wanted Brian Ortega to win this one, and it might set up a future rematch with the 145 featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, but unfortunately that's not going to happen, and quite possibly the next contender for the 145 championship is now going to go to Yair Rodriguez. I mean, Yair does have a shot against Alexander Volkanovski, but unfortunately, I think Alexander Volkanovski will do pretty well and will probably significantly beat up on Yair Rodriguez for 5 rounds if he doesn't actually finish him way earlier than that. But yeah. In the fight before that, we did have a let's see. We had a fight between well, I don't know, it was right before that. Oh wait, no. It was Salihov, Muslim Salikov, going up against Lee the Liang Jiang, the Leech. It's interesting because, for one, Salikov had actually was doing pretty well. Actually, he actually was getting his strikes. Strikes were doing better in the stand-up game with Lee. The Leech, I guess I had a feeling that if he was going to go up against a strong striker who also had a very strong grappling background, it was just kind of reminding most people that when the Leech had actually got manhandled and mauled by, Chimaev, and I was starting to see glimpses in the first round when the Leech was again getting out grappled, and you'll start to notice some of the significant strikes coming from Muslim Salikov. I would say it was a quite a comeback in a sense. The Leech, Li Jiangyang, he pretty much had quite a few powerful punches, and it pretty much put Muslim Salikov on his heels, and it got to the point where Li Jiangyang, the Leech, had ended up finishing by TKO of Muslim Salihov in the second round. It was quite impressive. Um, it was a nice rebound victory for the Leech. So you need something like that to kind of get him back on track again. And if I remember correctly, the Leech was actually technically in the top 15 of the 170-pound welterweight class. So he can only build from there. So um, after he had lost to Chimaev, I think that was a very eye-opening experience, and the Leech can learn a lot from that, and he can only go up from there. So, and we'll see what happens. Who he also gets paired with in the 170 class, and maybe down the road he might get a rematch with Chimaev. And plus, if you did watch Chimaev's last fight where he fought Gilbert Burns, there is quite of a blueprint of how you can handle a guy like Chimaev. But I'm pretty sure at the same time, Chimaev knows that he has some weaknesses to work on. So, as may be the case, that the blueprint of how to handle someone like Chimaev, but you gotta also like implement better strategies that can help a fighter get quicker to the punch or quicker to execute excellent game plans, and be able to be consistent throughout a fight, and put your opponent like Chimaev or Muslim on their heels. So kudos to the Leech on the victory. um there was a fight between Pseudomonagere and Matt Schnell, and it was a good fight, and it could be one of the best fights of the year actually. Pseudomonagere, um, I think he was about to finish off Matt Schnell, but then Matt Schnell did come back, and he started to fight back, throwing some great strikes. It really rattled Pseudomonagere, and um, well, what do you know? Matt Schnell was able to lock in a arm triangle choke, um, and was able to submit Pseudomonagere, who actually ended up passing out from the submission attempt into temporary unconsciousness. So kudos to Matt Schnell on his comeback victory. What else? You got Misha Tate going up against Lauren Murphy. For those who might remember, Lauren Murphy had challenged Valentina Shevchenko for her 125 championship, but just felt that the the moment was too big and she wasn't ready for that title fight, and it showed in the title fight against Valentina, and Valentina was able to finish off Lauren Murphy. Now with Misha Tate, she is coming back from retirement, and she has a few fights under her belt since she's coming back, and um, she wanted to test the waters at 125, and it was a good back and forth fight between Lauren Murphy and Misha Tate, and Misha Tate actually ended up with a really big bump on her. What was it? Big bump under her cheek and eye. So um, Lauren Murphy had actually was able to basically outstrike Misha Tate and won by decision. So my guess is that either Misha Tate will stay at 125 and work on her craft at 125, or she might have to go back up to 135 and see what's happening there. So um uh oh, there was a good fight between Ricky Simon and Jake Shore, and Well, uh, Ricky Ricky Simon ended up, I believe, ended up finishing Jake Shore. Um, so that was a good fight, and um, there was a fight between what was it? Soriano and uh can't remember the opponent's name, but I do remember Soriano had actually got knocked down, and um, Soriano did come back and he ended up finishing off his opponent. And I actually remember that um, Soriano's opponent had actually had his rib popped out. You can see that it's just bulging out of his, you know, you can tell that the rib was basically popping out almost through the skin. So that was in a way kind of gnarly. um, but yeah, I feel like there's another fight. Um, let's see. But overall, I would say it's an exciting fight card in Long Island. And next Saturday is going to be a big fight. You have Tom Aspinall fighting against Curtis Blaze, and this is a great heavyweight fight. Um, and it's weird. As much as I like Curtis Blaze, but there's something about Tom Aspinall that might surprise everybody, and I might be leaning towards Tom Aspinall to win this fight. And it should be a good fight with Curtis Blaze. So I'll be tuning in. And what's great about that is that the card will finish before I go to my next comedy show on July 23rd. It has Jose Barrientos and Rachel Sterling on the lineup card. So that should be fun. That's at the boxing club. It looks like there's at the boxing club downtown, probably. So that should be fun. And plus, be nice to catch up with Rachel Sterling. Always real, always funny comic. Um, Speaking of which, um, I did go to the La Jolla Comedy Store on Friday night, and it was being headlined by Chris Porter. It was featuring Jennifer Sterger, who I usually support and follow, and I always love it when she comes to San Diego and try to catch her act. And she has mixed in some new material with her old material. So, and the crowd was very receptive to her. And I gotta admit, Chris Porter is super hilarious from beginning to end. And I wish I could have taken a picture with Chris Porter, but I think both Jennifer and Chris had already had left the building already. So, but I'll probably see them down the road again and hopefully get a picture with those two. Um, uh, it was cool because um, Jennifer will usually refer to um, talking about um, tattoos, dating, about her marriage life. And one particular joke that really caught on very well is the whole thing about the lightsabers. And what was even made it much better was that an actual audience member had not only did they volunteer that they had a lightsaber, but the fact that he admitted it, and I think it was the girlfriend that of the audience member that went into it a little bit about Star Wars and his hobbies and habits. And I can only imagine like just watching Jennifer Sterger like on stage, just like this might be one of the first few times that she was just shocked that not only that an audience member had actually volunteered, that they actually do play and work with lightsabers, but then to have a girlfriend validate and verify that the boyfriend does have lightsabers. And I must have missed other parts of what the girlfriend had said, but like it got the whole entire room laughing. And um and I guess I remember that doing crowd work is always fun when you're doing stand up. So that was pretty cool. And that's really a great thing about these comedy shows, that when comics can actually use crowd work as to extend their material, and it kind of helps them become creative and always do like improv and impromptu um, part of their material. So, and the fact that they can just like instantly just feed off of that, and that's always a great master skill to have when you're up there doing stand up. So, and for me as a audience member and a fan of the comics, like it's always fun to see and hear. So I would say it's a great show. And I didn't even notice that Jennifer had gone on for probably at least, what was it, like maybe 10 minutes she was up there. But Chris Porter must have been up there for at least half an hour. And I remember it's just stuff like how Chris Porter was talking about dating life and uh let's see. Oh yeah, talking about jobs too. And I remember something Chris had said. It was something in terms of uh I guess it was something about um uh no, see, now I'm gonna forget now. Well, let's see. Why do I find Chris so funny? And yet, and it's true, he actually pretty much had people laughing from beginning to end of his act. So um I think it had to do something with, okay, I remember one thing I remembered, but this probably wasn't the most funniest part of his act, but how he said like, oh, you're single and you're lonely and your bed is cold, and then I guess, for his reply to that comment, when a woman had said that, well, for one, he's totally happy, which is true. And the fact that, you know who um uh who what also makes him happy is that he can definitely tell you that his bed is not cold. So yeah, it has been a few days, but I think it's well worth it to go see Chris Porter live wherever he's going to be at. And the same thing with Jennifer Sterger too. So um, I know for sure that when I see them on any kind of lineup or billing between wherever they are, whether it's going to be in San Diego or maybe close to LA, and you know, make a good night out of it, and you always get a good laugh out of it. Uh, so then I also went to another comedy show on Saturday night, and it was at the Smith. The thing about this particular comedy show is that it's called Don't Tell Comedy. and this is like a secret comedy show. So that the only way you can go is that if you have to opt in, and once you had paid for your tickets, then it will tell you the day of where it's going to be at, what time it is, but you don't know who's going to be on the lineup, which makes me very curious and intrigued because um, quite possibly you might actually recognize somebody in whoever shows up for the secret comedy show. But this particular secret comedy show, not only was it held at the L Smith in Miramar Road, great place. Um, they have like this barrel room in the back, and this is where they set up for the comedy show. And um, I believe there's like probably 6 comics, I believe, that were there. And um trying to remember. Um so I remember there was the guy, his name might have been Jack, maybe. And I think he runs the producing of the Don't Tell comedy show. And he was the one who actually greeted me when I checked in. And I know that when I met him, and I know that he runs the show. And the first guy that came up, I think he was the host, that was Josh Waldron. And Josh Waldron is a regular for these shows when I did my research. And, the guy is super funny. And he did get to, get to use the front row guys as part of his material. And so yeah, he was really funny. And I also remembered afterwards, there was a comic um older lady. I think her name was Ellen. She was somewhat funny. She did talk about how when she was driving, uh she was lucky enough to have another driver um like roll down his window and then asked Ellen if she would watch him pleasure himself while driving. And her whole thing was about a vibrator and a selfie stick, and how um uh it's going to be hard to drive and pleasure yourself at the same time. And um I thought that was funny. She even mentioned um how it, when she plugged in her vibrator selfie stick, um it was gonna black out half the city or something and affect airplanes. But I mean, that some of that stuff was funny, but I think like her overall thing of the way she had actually brought on her material and portrayed it to the crowd. I think for some strange reason that I don't know if it was like the confidence thing about how to deliver the material that she was trying to dish out. And I guess it may or may not have caused not to have a great reaction or receptive reaction to the material. So that's probably like the only time I felt like she didn't exactly hit it out of the ballpark with her jokes. So yeah, there was another girl that came on after her. Her name was Natasha Collier. Now she was really funny. And um I think she had talked about how she was her parents or her mom was from Vietnam, so she is like, I think she said she was half Vietnamese. So that was pretty cool. And Um, I think she talked about how her grandmother was kind of racist. Um, and then darn, after a few days though, I guess it's just that you don't remember all the jokes or most of the jokes or half the jokes. Um, but trust me, Natasha was pretty funny. I actually got a picture with her and one other comic after the show. So they were pretty cool. Got to talk to them for a little bit. I have like a little window of time to try to get any kind of chat going before they had to start get going and stuff. And I totally understand that. And so the one that went after Natasha was Ashley Johnson. Big guy, big beard, funny guy. I remember how he started off by saying like uh he always have like those girly magazines and how he would just toss them near playgrounds. So like he's a contributor of magical moments for young kids so that they're gonna end up finding these magazines that he left behind, and is a way for them to get introduced to like the real world about men and women, and kind of help them like age mature faster because you know you get to see um you know how the human body looks like uh for like entertainment and stuff. So yeah, it'll make you grow up very fast and make you realize stuff like that is out there, and help mold young minds with images. So um but yeah, Ashley Johnson, he's a super cool guy. um I got a picture with him and Natasha together. So they're cool. And let's see. Oh yeah, the one really funny joke that I remembered Ashley had said was uh no matter how cute or no matter how many cute puppies that you bring to the park or the forest, there's no way you would want to approach a guy like Ashley Johnson with a puppy in the forest that looks like Ashley. And everybody in the whole crowd was laughing, like including myself. Um yeah. So so he was a cool guy. Um the one after that, I believe it was um Torio Van Grohl. I remember he was wearing the City Connect Padres baseball cap on. So he was a funny guy. Uh, let's see. What do I remember about his thing? Other than the fact that he was super funny. Um, I think let's see, Torio had talked about, oh yeah, I remember about the avocado thing. So he said that he actually had worked at a restaurant, and he talked about how there's this thing called an affogato, and he talked about how how he hated his job. And so he said that he went up to a customer, and the customer had told Torio that she wanted an affogato. Now, given that he had started kind of working there like within the month or two, he thinks that the lady had said avocado. And then as he was saying, so you want me to bring you an avocado? And then the lady like kind of like um waved him off as if, that was exactly what she ordered. So Dario had actually, you know, uh went back and went and got an avocado and cut it up and uh brought back an avocado for the lady. And then I think that was the funny part because he brought back an avocado for the lady who ordered an avocado. And then there's a part that he also mentioned how he used to work at a coffee shop and he used to make coffee. And so he went back and, you know, he made coffee, but he was supposed to make this affogato was supposed to be an espresso. And so it was supposed to be kind of a fancy espresso, but he just purely just made coffee, plain coffee, and just brought it back. And so the best thing about the job was that, he got to know what avocado is, and he got himself a free avocado. So I remember that, and that was pretty funny. Um, so the one after that, it was basically the headliner. So the headliner was Noah Kopfer, and he liked to talk about like what kind of animal part would any of the audience members would like to have. And somebody said, there's wings to fly away. And he mentioned how it's interesting that the audience member said wings because, like, if they didn't like Noah Kofer talking, then you can simply just fly away with those wings that she had mentioned. And then someone said horsecock, and that's usually, you know, um, what most people would talk about is the horse and his cock. And so, um, oh, and speaking of which, I was actually part of Noah's material. He had talked about that he worked for Grubhub, and he had asked if anyone actually works or did something like Grubhub, and I volunteered. I might be the only one that I volunteered to say that I work for Uber Eats, and um, and I guess because technically Uber Eats and Grubhub is rivals in the food business, and you mentioned how I was in my um in my black shroud get up, but he told everyone in the crowd that I could beat him up, and I thought that was like super hilarious and stuff. So not only did it give me some self-confidence that I could beat up somebody, but the fact that he actually did so that the whole crowd can hear it, that how he told everyone that I could beat someone up. So that was pretty cool. And we talked after the show and we were pretty cool. So um so I am following Noah Kopfer. I'm following Ashley Johnson, Natasha Collier, Josh Waldron, and Don't Tell Comedy San Diego, Don't Tell Comedy, um, all on Instagram. And I do know if Don't Tell Comedy is actually also on Twitter. They might be. So I posted, pictures on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So, um, fun times. And I'm glad I go to these shows, and I'm glad I'm now aware of the secret comedy show. So, more fun times coming ahead. So I can't wait for the next one, see where it is, and be a little curious as to who's going to be on the next lineup for that. Um, so yeah, I did mention that I am going to another comedy show on Saturday night, and it's going to be after the UFC event is over earlier in the day, and it's going to be at the Boxing Club, July 23rd, featuring Rachel Sterling and Jose Barrientos. Jose Barrientos is actually a Mermaids High School alumni. He actually graduated after my class, after the 2001 class. So I think he said he was part of the 2004 class of Mermaids High School. So that's pretty cool. Um, I did look into this other comedy show that's actually gonna run, I guess, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So that's like what is that? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it features Brandon Schwab, the Trash Panda Tour, as he would call it. And he's gonna be coming through San Diego later this week. And I'm actually thinking about going to the Friday show. Since I'm already going to a show on Saturday, why not go to the one on Friday? So um I think he's funny, and I'll get a chance to try to meet him on Friday. I just need to look into tickets and get one and go enjoy myself and possibly meet up with this Brandon Schwab. Um, Brandon Schwab is as you all may know, he's an actual ex UFC fighter. I think he's retired from fighting now. So I remember watching um Brendan Schwab, I think on The Ultimate Fighter. Um I think he was a heavyweight on the show. So um I'm trying to remember if Brendan Schwab had actually won the Ultimate Fighter. I have to look into that. But he did have a decent career, and I remembered him doing mostly, um doing some podcast work with Joe Rogan of the Joe Rogan Experience. So you'll see him a lot on YouTube with him and Joe Rogan. So, and for me, I should probably start from the beginning of that Joe Rogan podcast, and eventually I'll be, current. But he's done so many episodes, so there's a lot of material to go through. Someday I'll be there soon. Um, okay. Oh, and then I may not have mentioned before, but I'm also going to see another comedy show August 4th, which will feature Jen Live. And I might look into another comedy show while I'm there because I'm probably going to stay up in LA for a couple of days. So basically, 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe 7th. We'll see what happens. Um, I'm also going to a comedy show September 16th on a Friday, I believe. It's for Jerry Seinfeld. It's going to be at the San Diego Civic Theater downtown. And I'm looking into tickets to see Adam Carolla, which is going to be at the Mic Drop, which is the new comedy club in Claremont Mesa Boulevard. The last time there was a comedy club in Claremont Mesa, it was quite some time ago. Someone told me the name of it, but I can't remember what it is. But it used to be right by the Denny's on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. So that was like the old comedy club. So mm, so yeah. Um Oh, I think Gina Brilliant is also going to be at the mic drop too, and that might be sometime in September. So, a lot of comedy shows to go to, a lot of fun. Um, Want to mention also the San Diego Padres. They won took 2 out of 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks back at Petco Park, and now we hit our All Star break, and the Padres are 52-42, I believe. Second place in the NL West division. They are currently the number 5 seed in the National League playoff race. If they were to end the season right now, the Padres would be playing the Atlanta Braves, who are the defending World Series champions. The number 1 seed, I believe, right now is the LA Dodgers, who doesn't seem to lose a lot these days, but kudos to them. So, I mean, Padres would have to eventually meet with the Atlanta Braves, and will eventually have to face the Dodgers and the Mets down the road. So we'll see how that's going to go. Um, Still no Tatis, but he is starting to swing the bat now, so he might be back in about a couple weeks and have him for the down stretch of the season. And pitching, it's about as good as it can be. I'm still hoping more out of starting pitching where, um, you know, at least try to go no less than 6 innings, but try to go at least 7 or 8, and then have a consistent bullpen that can finish off, close out the game. But we've had some closing issues, middle relief issues, so hopefully things get better with pitching. Offensively, well, you have your good days and you have your bad days. There were days when we just only score between 0 and 2, and then our pitching can only do so much. But if you don't score a lot, then it's going to be hard on the pitching to try to keep that particular lead, or just to get any kind of run support to kind of help with the pitching, because without the pitching, I mean, it can get really bad, but the pitching can only do so much and hold another team down as long as you can, as long as the offense will come around and complement the great pitching. But if the offense is not there, then you can only do so much with the pitching. And unfortunately, I'm really waiting for like all the offensive cylinders to kind of start clicking together and get some hits from Jake Cronenworth and Manny Machado and Mazara, Hassan Kim. We have a new guy, Ruiz, who's like a speed demon around the bases. And Austin Nola, Alfaro, you know, Eric Hosmer, Luke Voigt, just get all those guys together and hopefully you know, string together some offensive performances and put up enough runs to kind of complement the great pitching and bullpen. And you know, with this All Star break, hopefully they can get back things to normal and be a serious contender to the Giants, to the Dodgers, to the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Mets, the Braves, and then the other side with the Astros and Mariners and the Rays and the Yankees and the Twins and the Guardians. So yeah, so wishing for good things about that. Um, I did get to try the fish sandwich over at the Grub Burger Bar in Carmel Mountain. The fish sandwich, it was really good. I like it. And the buffalo wings were pretty decent. So um what else? Oh, I did get the fish tacos again over at El Pueblo, which is located at Del Mar off of the Villa de la Valle exit by the 5 freeway, very close to the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Good tacos. Really good carne asada and pollo asado tacos there too. So, but of course, for the fish tacos on Tuesdays, they're $1.09. So that's a good deal. And if you do the normal tacos, it's 2 for $9. So their tacos are usually going for like $6. So if you do the 2 for $9 deal, I would say it's very worth it. And they do have an open salsa bar. Their chunky salsa is okay, but I do like their salsa verde. And they do have like an orange spicy salsa, which I kind of mix in just a little bit with the salsa verde. So yeah, they also do have hot carrots that they provide at the salsa bar, so you get as many of those as you want. I try to do 10 or less. So I did go by the California Fish Grill lately. I got the Louisiana catfish, got that fried. It was pretty decent. I also did get to try their fish and chips. The fish itself is pretty delicious, actually. I just had it earlier. So those are good choices. So can't think of anything else to really. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Getting pretty tired, but just want to get on here, talk to you guys for a little bit. So this is Tiggy Maximus signing off, and I hope you all have a good week. I'll report more about more sports and more comedy shows and food. And yeah, guys, have lots of fun. Be safe out there, and catch up with y'all later. This is Tiggy Maximus signing off. Bye, guys.